Right, can I have your attention, please? Thank you. Just a big warm welcome to Track and Field Stud here today, and it's great to see you all, giving you a weekend off to come and see this, and I think hopefully you'll find it a really fascinating day. Before we start, like everything, there's a few housekeeping rules. There's no planned fire drills today, so if the alarm goes off, please make your way out into the car park, and please don't use the lift either. First aid, there are a few first aiders in the building. You'll be fortunate I'm not one of them. We have got a defib outside. I think they bought it for me during the stud season more than anything else to keep me going. And I'll see if I can get rid of that. If mobile phones, if you can just put them on silent, please, that would be great. Toilets, there are 3 toilets just out in the hallway, but there's quite a big group of you here today. We might have some more people coming later. So, and there are some downstairs, so we have got 5 there for you. Smoking, there's no smoking in the building, but obviously very welcome to go outside in the car park and smoke. Refreshments, there's teas and coffees on all day. And there's obviously some sandwiches and at lunchtime. You're very welcome to. There's quite a few. It might just to stagger the lunch a little bit, and then you also can bring it back in here. We're not doing a. We're not doing scenic lectures there, are we?
No, we're not.
No, this is from an old slide. Yes, just want to make sure. What's it? Yeah, an old presentation. This one. Hopefully, you all know what goes on in this building. So, the wrong context. But there is a tour around later, isn't there, Lucy? I think so, and that's part of it. And I think questions, depending on how time goes, I think it's good to get the questions, but obviously we're going to try and stick to time and try and keep the questions if possible as topical as you can. So that's just a bit about the bits and pieces for the day, and then it's just an outline. I'm going to go through about meeting our team, our facilities, and our services. I'm just going to run through that. So today, it's very much been put on through Gemini Genetics, which Lucy's going to be talking about, and I think she's been doing a lot of liaising with you today, and also with Elite Kennel Fertility. So. And Dave is here, who's going to speak to you about that. And that's something we started in the last few years. A big thank you to our speakers, our guest speakers here today. Our speakers are Professor Philippe Wilson and Dr. Andy Dell. We'll be talking a bit more about them a bit later. So thank you for coming all this way. And kindly sponsored by Natural Vet Care, which is a partner of NAF. And whenever these days, you can't put these days on, I'm afraid, without really having these sponsors. And they really do make it, they pay for the day to be well. So a big appreciate for them. And Griselda's at the back of the room there. She's got to stand here. So very much go and speak to her. So there's quite a lot to get through today. There's Dave is our resident vet for Elite Kennel Fertility. He's going to do a presentation. And then Lucy, and as you can see, we've got a lot to get through, really interesting presentations. And then at the end of the day, we've got a good discussion as well. At the end of the day, we can go through some of the topics and we can have a chat through to our speakers. Just a little bit about ourselves. I'm owner and managing director of Stallion AI Services and Gemini Genetics and Elite Kennel Fertility. I've been into doing sort of cryobiology on the equine side for about 30 years, with a very keen interest in science and technologies and rare breeds. And that's obviously what today's a lot about, is the Rare Breed Dog Day. So how we can use new science and new technologies to help save these, and you're going to hear all about this today as well. But my main focus is obviously on the stallion side, but we've used those same technologies to cross over. To use the latest technologies and innovation really to help breeders out there get the best out of their breeds and their animals. So just a little bit about Elite Kennel Fertility. It was established in 2019. It was really brought together by some like-minded people. When we did Stallion AI services for 30 years, we kept on getting quite a lot of canine clients coming to us. Can you freeze our dog? And we did the odd dog, and we sort of did it half. You know, we didn't really go full bore into it. And with Stallion AI services, we always like to be at the lead. We always try to be at the forefront of what we do. We thought, well, if we're going to do this, we want to do it right, and we really want to push it out there. And that's what we've really tried to push out with the Stallion AI services, and that's really what we want to make elite kennel fertility, to be the best in the country at what we do. And so we've got a great team together, and you're going to meet quite a lot of people as well. So it's using the latest technologies really in canine reproduction. And it's really to bring the standards up, and Dave's going to be speaking today, you know, and he's very much on an animal welfare side, how we can sort of really bring sort of the latest technology and really on the ethical side of breeding and get a high welfare standards as well using these latest technologies. And that's really important, as you'll see, to us, and it's really important to see what we how we can deliver that as well. These facilities that we've got here, we came in here about 2017. We built these new facilities, and we wanted to build state-of-the-art facilities. So we've invested a lot in equipment and all different aspects of breeding fertility to try and maximise so you've got the best product at the end of it for getting your bitches in pup, and be able to freeze these dogs down at the highest way that we can actually get the best results. So we've invested so much in the state-of-the-art facility that we can have a look around later on. It's this afternoon, isn't it, Lucy? We're going to split you into different groups so you can see all the different groups as well. We've got these storage facilities. We can freeze all this stuff, but we've got to make sure it's stored right. And here we've got these big super tanks. You'll see we've got 4 of these, and they've got about 250,000 straws in each tank. So there's nearly over 1 million straws. From about there's about 1,400 different stallions, and actually the amount of species down there, we've got one tank with over 165 different species in, which is quite incredible. But you'll see this afternoon. So we're all about genetic preservation, how we can use that. And that's all in it. It's like the convert room downstairs. You know, sort of some concrete rooms and sort of secure down there, fireproof, where all the genetics are stored. And then we have where we ship all the semen out. You'll see all these shipping flasks. So we send these all around the world. That's a company that we use, is called Cryogenetics. And that's the sort of company that actually the logistics, these sequences all over. So we did about 27 different countries last year. Back in 2013, we did about I think it was about 7,000 straws. I think it was about £70,000 worth. Last year we did £4.2 million worth. You know, so that side is really, really growing on that. So we're able to get the semen. The world's quite a small place now. It's amazing how we spread this genetics all over the place. Gemini genetics is very much what Lucy's going to be speaking to you about today. So this is a preservation and animal genetic bank for the pet and equine side of cloning. But there's so much more to that, and they say Lucy's is the manager of that, and is going to see, especially when you come into rare breed animals or rare breed canines, this can be a lifeline to so many of your breeds about preserving those genetics down. Because quite often we don't know how we're going to use these genetics in the future, but if we don't bank them now, we could lose them forever. And we've seen this through so many different species on our planet. And it's worked so well with some of the other different species like the equine and so on. And now this is just showing you how actually these new technologies can be used in the canine world as well. So Lucy's going to explain a bit more about that. And we've got a dedicated lab downstairs where we do all the cell cultures. Again, it's quite a small room, so we'll just have to shuffle you in and shuffle you out, but at least you get a bit of an idea what is done there. And it is quite amazing stuff. And they're going to look about the charity we set up called Nature's Safe as well. And how we secure all these samples, because there's thousands of samples, and we have these systems in place called the Matson system, which is like a barcoded system, so all the samples are labeled so they can be tracked as well. We've got some very special animals on this place as well that you'll see later. So we've got, this is what my dog was. I suppose it's the yard dog really. She's about, but very much started off in the lab with Lucy. It's called Jem. She's the new woman in my life. She's absolutely adorable. I must admit, I never thought I could fall in love with a dog so much so quickly. So she's absolutely, you'll see her later. And we've got a horse here called Jem Twist. And we're just trying to expel some of the myths on cloning, because some people might, you know, it's quite right to say they might not be too sure about it. Where does it play its part, and so on. So I think it's quite important to have an open discussion about that. And you can see these animals are perfectly healthy, living and breathing animals, but yeah, they are something special. But on the back of that technology, we've actually tried to use it for rare breed preservation or rare species preservation. You know, there's about 7 million species on the planet. There's about 1 million at risk. There's 40,000 critically endangered. By the end of today, there'll be about 75 species would have gone extinct, which is quite a sad aspect to think about. But using technologies that Lucy developed, and you know, we've done it here over the years with equine, we are now starting up one of the first living charitable banks in the world. There are a few around, but this is one of the collective ones that we're doing with a fantastic group of experts together. And Professor Philippe Wilson is one of those on the scientific committee that make a huge impact in how we're to preserve these species. So what's good is we learn from one species to another, which can enable you to do this work on the canine side as well. We have various companies here. So we've got cryogenetics, which I was talking about, which is the logistics, which is where we ship the semen all over the world. We have a hub in Ireland. For Brexit, it was just easier to store a load of semen there for the distribution side. Gemini Genetics, which is the tissue banking, which Lucy's going to be speaking about. The conference suites up here. So we hire this facility out. If anybody wants to hire it out, we do it for the canine side, the dog shows, or any side of it, we hire these facilities out. Elite Kennel Fertility, and also we've got Julian at the back there as one of the directors as well of Elite Kennel Fertility. He's about today as well, and he's one of the founding partners. Nature Safe and Stallion AI Services, which is the umbrella group really. And we were hugely honoured this year. We were given the Queen's Award for Enterprise Innovation, and this is apparently one of the highest accolades a business can get. We have it for 5 years. We've actually got the opening ceremony that we had every year, which should be presented at the end of the month. It's like the MBE for businesses, basically. So that's all down to the teamwork. I'm extremely lucky to be standing up and get awarded these things, but it is down to the teamwork that we have here. Hopefully you'll see that today. So our speakers, we've got a wide range of speakers here today from, you know, all parts of the industry, and hopefully, you know, giving different aspects of what they're doing to help, obviously, the canine side. Dave's been with us for how many years now, is it, Dave? 21, right. So Dave's our resident vet and really specialises in the canine reproductive side. And to tell you how difficult that is to find somebody who's really into his canine side and really into the repro side, it's very, very difficult. There's lots of reproduction people out there, but trying to get a vet that really specializes is a one-off. I think we're going to clone you, Dave. I think what he but it really is, and I'm not just trying to say it to sit in the room, but it really is somebody who's so passionate about, and he's big into his showing, big into his breeding. So you know, you'll see his passion really does come through. So it's Lucy, who sits down here, has done a huge part today of actually setting this up. Lucy's part of our team now for 7 years, isn't it?
Not quite 7. It's not 5 years.
5 years. Right, yeah. I get into trouble now, so I sort of got a shovel for you. Yeah. But it's very much started off with Stallion AI, but then moved over, suddenly realised she's got a real niche on the genetic side, and again using new technologies, and very conscientious when it comes to this very sensitive side. You know, when an animal passes away, you know, we speak to the people down there when they bring their dogs or cats in. It's a very emotional time, and Lucy's been on bereavement courses and things like that to sort of really try and help that side, because we are trying to help at that particular point. And there's not all about cloning, it's about genetic preservation. And we find a lot of people see that as a way of getting through that very traumatic time of just holding down a bit of tissue. And very much Lucy goes through that and it helps with the clients through that period. But also really develops all these new technologies as well, and how we can grow these cells and preserve them in a stable way for the future. Dr. Andy Dell is at the back of the room. I've known Andy, I'm not going to say how many years, so I'll get into trouble, but a long time. And he's been quite incredible. He's always been by our side. Every time we pick the phone up, I do feel it should be a pay-as-you-go phone, I think, sometimes, because I think, you know, we're always asking for advice. And what he's done for the Cleveland Bay Horse Society is quite outstanding. They were, I don't want to speak out of turn, but pretty much on their knees with the inbreeding and all the issues. And what Andy's done is bringing in new sort of systems of what, which he's going to explain about today, about how to do appropriate breeding rather than inappropriate breeding. You know, inbreeding is what makes species go extinct, wherever it is. You know, it's called the extinction vortex. You know, we see it in cheetahs, we see it, you know, in horses, we see it in cows, we see it all. And he's going to explain about it. And he's actually helped develop a system that can stop this from happening. And it really has. And getting in that extinction vortex, trying to climb back out of it, it is like climbing up a slippery slope. But he's managed to be able to do this in appropriate and get these breeds, these species, climbing up out of that extinction vortex by doing appropriate breeding. And he's going to be talking about that today. And that's going to be fascinating. Professor Philippe Wilson, yeah, again, we've known for a long time. Philippe was part of the Rare Breed Survival Trust many years ago, and I feel like, you know, he's very akin to what he likes his new technologies and he likes his rare breeds, but he's just on another level to me. He's, you know, he's just out there, so far out there. Some of the stuff he's thinking about is incredible. It's mind-blowing, but it's really, really important. Here we are banking these genetics. But how are we going to use them in the future? You know, there's no point banking all these. We don't know what we're going to do with them. But he's got the foresight to say, well, actually, we can do this, we can do that, we can use these technologies. I remember doing a presentation 5 years ago talking about sort of freezing embryos and all this side. This is maybe the future. We're actually doing it now. So some of the stuff that we talk about now, or he might talk, will we be doing in 10 or 20 years' time? So that is so important when you're talking about preservation, because we are preserving here now, but we're preserving for the future. And you know, Philippe's very much part of that side, using the technologies. As I said, we couldn't be here today without the Natural Vet Care, an arm of NAF. We've had a great relationship with them for many, many years, and we've used different companies over the years for helping with fertility. And I have to say NAF, and you may have heard of NAF and the Natural Vet Care, but their quality of what they do is quite outstanding. They really listen, because you're at the core place, you're the ones that may be feeding these products and want them to work, but they really listen to what you have to say. They listen to what we have to say. If we've got an issue with a canine with fertility problems or the seeds, they say, right, well, this nutrition should help. And that's where they have been so good in the past, of really making these products actually really, really work as well. So we thank them today really for sponsoring as well. So the aim of today is really to highlight the plight of rare breed dogs and how new assisted reproductive technologies can help them. I think we've got one in the back of the room lying down there now, I think. And to showcase some of the technologies that we can use for the sustainability of the future. But I think you people here are the ones that we want to listen to as well, because we can provide this tool, but quite often if we don't know how to use this tool, we need your help. So you might say, right, we need to do X, Y, and Z. It might be a bit of sort of moving things around to know which direction we've got to go into, but we need to listen to you guys. We can provide it. We're not let's say dog experts or canine experts. You are. So We can provide the knowledge on how you should appropriate breed and how and all that side of it through Andy's or using new technologies completely. But we do need to listen to you to let us know how to do that. So on that, I hope you enjoy your day. Yeah, and I think it's really important to get the interaction going and get some good questions going, some topical questions a bit later.